Please welcome to the show, paranormal enthusiast, author, and pretty much all-around expert with having to do with the murder in room 636 at the Gunter Hotel. Please welcome to the show, Guillermo Fuentes. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic, Russell. Thank you for the invite.
You have put in the work, my friend. You've written the book called The Murder of Room 636, A Haunting Truth. How long have you been working on this?
12 long years.
It shows. This is a thick book. You leave nothing out about what is a tale that will send chills down your spine. This is so crazy, and I can't believe it happened in San Antonio. Would you say that this is the biggest unsolved mystery in San Antonio?
I'm going to classify it as the biggest mystery in the history of San Antonio. Unsolved cold case. We have, a victim who walked into the hotel, never made it out alive, terrorized the entire city of San Antonio. It turned upside down the police department, and the case went cold.
And here we are 50 years later, no closer to solving the case?
5 decades is unbelievable.
Wow. How is this not a movie, by the way?
It should be a movie.
That's what I'm saying. Well, check the book out. Highly recommend it. It's called The Murder of Room 636, A Haunting Truth. Guillermo Fuentes, thanks so much for coming on the show, man.
Thank you for the invite, Russell.
And we're clear. Dude, thank you so much for coming in, man.
Oh, thank you for the invite.
I am fascinated by this case. I mean, I've told you that. You've known that for a while now. So the book was a great read. And
it's always a passion to speak about this case.
Yeah, ever since I came to San Antonio, I've, wondered about it, and you're the guy obviously to learn from. And
there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about the case.
It's been a few days since I did the interview with Guillermo, and ever since I had him on the show, I can't stop thinking about the case. I mean, the history and all the ghost stories over the years. So I'm actually on my way right now to go have coffee, and I don't know, maybe this is crazy, but I just wanted to chat.
Hey Russell, how you been?
What's going on, dude? Just wrapped up on a tour, man, so we're excited. Season's over, season's done, so that's cool.
Awesome,
It's going to be a good year, yeah.
Great.
So I got to tell you, I asked you here because ever since we had you on the radio, we were talking about room 636 in the book, I have not been able to stop thinking about it.
Why is that?
When I asked you, why isn't this a movie? And you said, it should be. Well, why couldn't it be? What if we just documented our path using the research that you've done to try and solve the murder?
I kind of been doing that already. I mean, what other
See,
venues?
the one catch would be that we do this through paranormal research. I mean, there's all these new methods out there, these new technologies. Dude, I mean, all we can do is poke around a little bit, right? I mean,
okay.
The worst case scenario, we end up back here with what we already know.
Man, okay, that sounds...
Don't even lie to me, I know this has been your dream.
Dude, I'm excited. Are you serious?
Are you in?
I'm in, man.
The journey begins now.
After receiving the blessing of the incredibly open-minded management of the Gunter Hotel, the journey may now indeed begin. But before we move forward, we first must travel back 50 years to 1965 at the famous Gunter Hotel.
The Gunter Hotel was known as one thing, the center of everything. And it was the center of everything. It was right downtown on Houston and St. Mary's, which are two major thoroughfares.
Of course, it's a fine hotel to stay at, but it's always been part of the history downtown.
Gunter played a big part, and a lot of radio stars would come, and a lot of movie stars would stay at the Gunter.
It was by far one of the biggest attractions, in not only in the city of San Antonio in Texas, but in the entire United States.
On Tuesday, February 2nd, 1965, a man by the name of Walter Audley Emmerich checks into room 636 at the Gunter Hotel under an assumed name.
Well, it's my understanding that this gentleman checked into the hotel using a false name, using the name of Albert Knox.
For the next several days, Walter drinks his way through the bars of downtown San Antonio, paying for everything with hot checks he had stolen from his mother.
The man was a very heavy drinker, and he was floating paper all over town, hot checks all over town, paying for everything.
After a day or so, they seen him running around with the blonde-haired lady. Nobody knows exactly who she was, but they seem to be having a good time.
By Monday, February 8th, 1965, the dreary weather and Walter's overindulgence begins to take its toll.
Housekeeper in charge of the 6th floor had already attempted to clean room 636. At about 3:00 p.m. on the same day, February the 8th, she returns to room 636.
She sees a do not disturb sign on room 636. She thinks it's a mistake.
Upon opening the door, they notice a person under the covers. They couldn't tell whether if it was a man or a woman, but based on what they encountered, they decided to leave the room and come back at a later time.
At around 5:40 p.m., there's a shift change and maids are yet again sent to service the room. Not knowing other hotel staff have already attempted to clean room 636, the new maid on duty ignores the do not disturb sign, opens the door using her key, and walks into a horrifying scene.
She sees that there's blood coming up through the sheets.
They both locked eyes, they looked at each other.
Paralyzed with fear, she stands there as he escapes into the night. The room is a bloody mess. The maid gathers herself and rushes to tell coworkers what she's just witnessed. They return to the room to verify her story.
With all the confusion and commotion, they lost about 40 minutes of precious time before they called the San Antonio police. By this time, Walter A. Emmerich had already escaped.
Detective Frank Castillon is one of the first to arrive.
They encountered a gruesome scene with blood stains not only on the walls, on the bed, on the carpet, but also inside the bathroom. Not to mention the toilet and the floor. According to Frank Castillon, he had never seen anything like this before.
Immediately, police theorize someone must have died in the room and call for the medical examiner, Dr. Ruben Santos.
His assertion of the situation was that, based on the evidence, that definitely a woman had been killed in the room.
That evidence includes empty wine bottles, some stinky cheese, blonde hair is found strewn about the room, small bloody footprints, and lipstick imprints on a glass and cigar butt. But the question is, where is the body?
The medical examiner concluded that a woman had been killed and perhaps her body was butchered, cut into pieces.
From their initial investigation, detectives believe the suspect, a white male between 30 and 40, was in the room with the petite blonde woman when some sort of argument broke out.
Something went wrong in the room. Something happened, some sort of a fight that later escalated to perhaps a physical altercation. One thing led to another. Not only did he use a .22 caliber gun to kill the woman, but he also stabbed her, strangled her, and proceeded to cut her body in pieces on top of the bed.
While hard to fathom, detectives struggle for any other way such a tremendous amount of blood could be left behind in room 636.
What would cause you to cut somebody up and hate them so bad that you would try to flush them down the toilet? It seems to me it's a little bit more than just a lady I had a date with that I didn't like.
This is a question police don't have an answer for. They also don't have a body or a suspect, as the name and address on the hotel check-in slip turn out to be fake. With that, the largest manhunt in San Antonio history commences. Police are not only searching for a suspect, but the body of a victim as well.
There were massive operations around the Gunter Hotel.
The investigation on this murder was very intense at the beginning.
They inspected the sewer systems in downtown. They alerted the sanitation department to be on the lookout for a large bloody bundle. Searches were done on the rooftops of just about every building in close proximity of the Gunter Hotel, and there were searches conducted in the San Antonio River. There were also a number of volunteers that helped in the search for the missing body, but everything just came cold.
San Antonio police deploy all of their assets, including their relatively new canine unit. Officer Tom Foose is one of 3 canine officers who work the scene. The canine unit is actually the first to get a big break in the case, as Canine Lobo hones in on the scent of the suspect and trails it down the hallway of the Gunter Hotel to a 6th-floor window, where blood is found on a windowsill.
Inside, you can track easier because they call it effluvia that your body gives off, hangs around. But out in weather, it's very difficult for the dog to pick up anything.
It's raining, and the dogs lose the scent at the window.
The Gunter had metal fire escapes on the outside. He found an open window onto a fire escape, and he takes off.
It's actually amazing that the man could afterwards walk out. Here's a guy who supposedly killed somebody, is seen in an extremely bloody condition, but yet is able to get up and gather everything, or as best he can, and walk out of there. Didn't somebody see something?
It's cold, there's a light rain going on. Being February, it gets darker sooner. All of this played a factor in Walter A. Emmerich escaping the Gunter Hotel.
Meanwhile, patrons at the Texas Theater a block away from the Gunter report blood splattered on cars in the parking lot. A call comes in from the Tropicana Hotel to report a man acting suspiciously near the San Antonio River. Police follow up, but find nothing.
There were tons and tons of tips flooding into the San Antonio Police Department.
When something like this comes in, you get a lot of information, and I'd say probably 80% of it is nothing.
People describing foul smells coming from sewer systems, dogs chewing on bones that were thought to be human.
Any case that I've been in that turned in anything, it always began with something very, very small.
Detective Castillon is about to get that something small when he confirms with staff at Shiloh's Delicatessen, just blocks from the Gunter, that the wine and cheese found in the room were purchased there. And the man who purchased it did so with a hot check, signing his name, Walter Emmerich.
Police now had their man. They had a suspect.
From this point forward, police are able to trace their suspect's path with a trail of hot checks.
Days before he checked into the Gunter Hotel, he had stolen a checkbook from his mother with the name of John J. McCarthy, who happens to be his stepfather.
To their surprise, police discover the suspect, Walter A. Emmerich, is a known criminal who spent time in prison. They immediately distribute his mugshot to the media. This entire time, Walter Emmerich has not left the downtown San Antonio area. Instead, the night of the murder, Walter checks in to another downtown establishment.
So on February the 9th, 1965, at about 9 o'clock in the morning, Walter exits the Rio Lado Motel without paying the bill. From there, he walks to Houston Street and in attempts to see what was going on around the Gunter Hotel and whether or not police were on his track.
That afternoon, the case takes another disturbing turn.
In the afternoon of February the 9th, 1965, Walter A. Emmerich walks into the Sears Roebuck store and demands a industrial-sized meat grinder.
The store clerk tells Walter they don't have any in stock, but they'd be more than happy to check in the warehouse. Walter is extremely agitated.
Raises his voice and he says, "I need it now."
Going after a meat grinder, that's a big telltale red flag to me.
He demanded a meat grinder.
Who in their right mind is going to think of putting a body through a meat grinder, you know? The ordinary person doesn't think like that.
With each passing minute, Walter's plan becomes painfully clear.
When Walter A. Emmerich left the Gunter Hotel carrying that bloody bundle, I strongly believe that he placed that bundle in an area where he had easy access to. His plan was to run it through a meat grinder, get rid of the bones, and perhaps just dispose the remainings in the San Antonio River.
It's not every day that somebody comes up with a plot like this.
Walter storms out of the Sears Roebuck store and walks to the St. Anthony Hotel a few blocks south, arriving at around 2 p.m.
He checks in under the alias of Robert Ashley from Dallas, Texas.
This is the second alias he's used in less than a week.
When Walter A. Emmerich walked into the St. Anthony Hotel, he demanded room 636. Unfortunately for him, it was occupied, so he settled for room 536. This would be the last hotel Walter A. Emmerich would ever check into.
It's here at the St. Anthony that hotel maids would prove yet again to be his undoing.
On February the 10th, 1965, housekeepers try to clean his room, but he keeps dismissing service.
Maids become suspicious and notify Chief of Security Sandor Ambrose, who calls police.
Police arrive at the St. Anthony Hotel, and with them they bring the check-in slip from the Gunter Hotel, which they compare to the check-in slip of the St. Anthony Hotel, and boom, it's a match.
The handwriting is similar. Police prepare to confront their suspect in room 536.
They simply went up to the room and knocked on the door and said, "Police, open the door."
Bam, gunshot goes off. Everybody hits the floor.
After several minutes, police break down the door.
Upon entering, they find Walter A. Emmerich under the sheets with a gunshot to his right temple, a .22 caliber on his right hand, and he's gasping for air.
He was still alive, and I got real close to him, and I asked him, "Well, where is the body?" And all I could hear just gurgling, and it lasted just for a few seconds, and then he died.
With Walter dead, he took the big secret with him to the grave. Police never found out who she was, and they never found her body.
Days after he killed himself, Walter was buried. They say the true measure of a man is in the numbers of those who show up to bid him farewell. 5 people attended Walter's funeral. Members of the press who were there on assignment had to serve as pallbearers. The investigation into the murder stretched on for days, weeks, months, and then years. In all that time, not one trace of the victim was ever found. No clothing, no bones, nothing.
They had all the evidence that pointed to a murder scene. They had the blood, they had the .22 caliber slugs embedded in the wall, they had a complete mess in room 636, yet they didn't have a body.
Eventually, the case went cold. And now 50 years later, we're still no closer to solving the murder. It seems Walter Emmerich, in a sense, got away with it. But what happened in Walter's life that led him to commit such a heinous act?
Walter Audley Emmerich was born in 1926 in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. His father was an abusive parent. His mother was completely the opposite. She was very kind. Walter's father often abused him verbally, using homophobic slurs, calling him a queer and also a poofter.
To escape the constant abuse from his father, in 1944, Walter joined the Navy without telling anyone.
Upon serving his 2 years, he came back home and he was a heavy drinker.
Walter's drinking led to physical altercations with his own father. Things became so bad at home, Walter again joined the military to escape. This time, the Air Force.
He was assigned to San Diego for training, and later he was sent to Lackland Air Force Base here in San Antonio, Texas.
In the Air Force, Walter was anything but the model airman.
I guess that's where his criminal life really started. He was accused on several occasions of stealing merchandise from some of his colleagues. He would just leave campus and go to a bar.
Numerous times, an extremely intoxicated Walter had to be retrieved from bars off base by military police.
The bars that he often attended were gay bars.
Do you think Walter Emmerich was gay?
I think he had a problem of identity. I think because of the time in which this took place, we're talking about the 60s, it was not openly accepted by society.
It was an issue that was discussed very, very little, it was. And it was always just very quietly discussed.
It is important to mention here that at any given point, no one has ever seen Walter A. Emmerich with a girlfriend. He's never been in a steady relationship with anyone.
Walter Emmerich was a complex and troubled individual.
Walter is definitely a very charming man, friendly. He is charismatic. But at the same time, he's a criminal.
In 1957, Walter's mother left her husband for good and moved to San Antonio, where her firstborn Walter was stationed. She wanted to be there when he was discharged from the Air Force.
Walter, he was just kind of like a bad guy that his parents just always tried to cover up for him, mainly his mother.
However, there was no way for her to cover up the events of February 8th, 1965. Now, in present day, some 50 years later, those terrible events are still playing out their ugly consequences.
It's the most gruesome murder in San Antonio's history. And of course, because of the murder, it's known for the hauntings over it.
Apparently, the hauntings on the 6th floor became so bad, the hotel completely remodeled the floor and turned room 636 into 2 separate rooms, rooms 620 and 621. All in the hopes it would stop the paranormal activity.
Other people have the opinion that when you remodel, you disturb the spirits or whatever. That may be true, but I don't think when you remodel, they say, oh, I'm going to leave now, you change my surroundings. At least it didn't work here.
The hauntings continued. The activity ranged from very mild to extremely severe.
The most convincing, I think, is the people that seem to have unusual experiences on the 6th floor. Bad dreams, they don't normally have bad dreams.
There's also been reports of TVs turning on and off, cell phones malfunctioning, and a white apparition walking through walls. One woman ran out of the hotel in the middle of the night after claiming something pulled her out of bed by her feet.
Sometimes we deal with forces beyond our understanding.
Guillermo has participated in numerous paranormal investigations in the 2 rooms. He firmly believes the spirit of Walter Emmerich is still present at the Gunter.
He continues to manifest, after all this time of being dead. So it affects me in so many ways.
This is the reason Guillermo has agreed to take part in the arduous undertaking we're about to embark on. To attempt to solve the case of the murder in room 636 through paranormal research.
You may never know why Walter did this, but if we can at least find information as to who the victim is and where the remains are located, that would be a tremendous breakthrough.
The first step is preparing our team of paranormal investigators for the investigation of their lives.
All right, guys, we got a big investigation coming up, ironically in a tiny space, in a hotel room at the Gunter Hotel, room 636, where in 1965 a gruesome murder took place. And so to make sure that we're all prepared for what we're about to do, I'm going to introduce you to Guillermo Fuentes, who is pretty much the expert on everything having to do with the murder in room 636. He's written a book, he's investigated, so he's going to brief us to make sure we're fully prepared. So, G, the floor is yours, man.
Thank you, Russell. Today I'm going to talk about the Gunter Hotel, and I'm going to present to you the facts about the murder of room 636, which occurred on the 8th of February, 1965. I want to emphasize that every single piece of document that I present to you tonight is a collection from a 13-year-old personal investigation.
Guillermo goes over every gory, disturbing detail of the case in the hopes the team will find something new that could spark activity in the rooms.
I advise you to take a step backwards and think about what you're going to do when you go into this room. Because his spirit, the way he tends to manifest, is in a violent way. His state of mind is still stuck in that time when he not only killed this woman, but cut her body into pieces. If you antagonize him, you will find him. If you confront him and if you challenge him, he will come at you, not only in that particular precise moment, but he will haunt you for the next couple of days. He will come visit you in your dreams. He will stay with you. He will let you know that he is in control of that area. Be careful.
Guillermo's warning, while extreme, is warranted.
When I investigate this case, I think about how Walter can sometimes manifest in a very violent way.
All I need, Walter, is for you to come out here. Tell you what, Walter, do you like it if I shove Courtney a little bit?
During a previous investigation in room 621, a husband and wife were acting out a fight, like what may have happened leading up to the murder.
I don't even know if you're in here, Walter.
I don't think you are. I think you're as much of a coward as Adam is.
Doing anything they can think of to evoke a response.
I'm standing just like this, looking this way, looking for him, and then it's like all of a sudden, I saw something.
Jesus Christ, get the
A response is exactly what they got. A spirit they believe to be Walter yanks at the wife's ponytail and attempts to pull her onto the bed. Morning brings fresh light and perspective. Everything always looks better in the morning, they say. Well, the team's had a night to sleep on the warning from Guillermo. Tonight at dark commences the first investigation. For the moment, however, I'm fixated on some exciting news.
A while back, we reached out to the psychic who's done some work with the FBI, and we were hoping maybe he could shed some light on our case. But I just got notified that he's in town right now and wants to meet with us. He's been working some cases for SAPD. Are you Gareth? Yes. I'm Russell.
Hi, Russell.
Very good. Hang on. Can we get him? Can we get him mic'd up? Thank you for coming down. This is Guillermo.
Guillermo, nice to meet you. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Gareth's been told nothing about the case, or even the building that we're going in for that matter. We've asked him to accompany us to room 621 to share any feelings he gets. If any.
Images of blood. Sense that someone may have died here.
Do you have any details on anything come to you that way?
Working on it. Not a natural death. So we're talking about something violent that happened.
What about genders of anything that you're picking up on?
So far I've gotten the possibility of a lady involved. But I don't get the sense of just one spirit per se here. The first thing I picked up on coming in was a male spirit.
Are you picking up on any names?
Not yet. For me, images tend to be more accurate than names or initials. Sometimes they come through.
We're looking for a name because the victim in this case was never known.
Oh, wow. The ghosts here, tend to think that since this happened here, that they have some sort of jurisdiction.
Even the woman?
Yeah, it's more alarm from her.
She's here to warn people.
Of sorts, and trying to figure out who we are. Type of thing.
So literally right now, are they watching us?
Yeah. There's a belief that sometimes when people die, they don't realize they're dead, or they may feel that it was a real injustice, and they may want to linger to try to bring about justice.
Where are they right now?
One is over here, and one is coming in, the man, and he lingers in that part of the room.
You're talking about the bathroom and everything?
Yeah.
Can we go in there?
Sure. I get a sense that there were loud voices at the time. It wasn't like a quiet thing. They may have been having an argument, or the man may have been angry. It's almost like he wanted her to comply with something. It involved, outside this room, it involved some personal thing, and she wasn't going for it.
The session seems to be draining for Gareth.
They knew each other, definitely. He may have been afraid that she would tell someone something. When she died, he really hadn't planned it. It was like a sudden anger thing. Not that he had no way that he could figure out immediately how to dispose of her body. It was suddenly a dilemma for him.
How did he do it? What was the solution that he came up with?
He made a phone call. There was a period of time of waiting. Like time went by before he actually did something.
After he killed her, are we talking days, hours?
Hours. Because the maids would come in and they would see it otherwise.
Original police reports stated maids walked in to see someone sleeping under the covers. They assumed a man. But could it have been her body the entire time?
But he had help. There was a man. He knew what his friend had done and helped to cover it up, so he'd be an accomplice legally.
This is the first we're hearing of an accomplice. But if true, makes so much sense to how Walter was able to escape.
After he called his friend, what happened?
They picked up the body. I get a sense of the body being removed from here, but put in something. It's almost like she was folded over. She was put inside the box.
Is she in the room now?
More in the atmosphere here.
Like, can I speak to her through you?
Well, she hears you. I can echo any response.
Can you tell us where he disposed of your body?
I get a sense of her crying that her body is no more. Like he put it someplace where it discorporated.
What kind of a place?
Well, for instance, like if you put her in water, after a certain amount of time, it would disintegrate.
Will he talk to you at all?
He's more angry at us. He was somewhat disturbed. I don't think he was a totally rational person. How in the world did she get mixed up with such a person? Wow.
Gareth's visit has left us with more questions than ever before. Perhaps some will be answered in our first investigation that's about to get underway. The team has been split into couples because of the intense activity that combination has prompted in the past. Joey and Vanessa are first up.
I guess we'll start off by saying that, Vanessa and I were, deeply sorry that this had to happen to you. Right now, this is your chance to tell your story, to get your side of things so we can know what happened to you.
I'm very sensitive, and I give you the permission to use me to show yourself. You deserve to be heard. I heard a noise that was definitely in this room.
Yeah, it sounded like a tap.
Can you make that noise again? I know that's you.
I just want to know who you are. Who you are.
Walter's over there. Don't worry about him. He's not gonna hurt you.
And that might be the bed.
What's going on, Johnny?
No, we keep hearing like a faint tap, but I don't know. I think it might be just the.
Do you want to sit on the floor so we can,
rule out
know
the
that
bed.
it's not the bed? Yeah.
Look at that.
Okay. Now I'll know for sure if it's you. Can you try and tap on the wall or make any kind of noise? Okay, I heard that. Did you? Did you hear that tap?
Yeah, I heard that. I don't know.
That was in the room.
Yeah,
Well,
but
I can tell when it's outside the room.
Yeah, I don't know though. It just sounds like the room settling. To me, it doesn't sound like an attention tap or.
Okay, now you have to prove Joey wrong and show that you're here. Please make another sound. That's not the room settling.
You don't think so?
No, that's twice on command. I have my headphones in, so it's.
What does it sound like it's coming from in here? It sounds like it.
Sounds like it's in the front room.
Yeah. Should we try to remove in there?
You wanna Let's go try the K2 in the back in the living room. Maybe
We'll
she's
get something.
over here. You know, it'd be really nice if we could call you by your name. I mean, I think you deserve to have a name.
I think people want to hear your story. This case has gone unsolved for
Too
years.
long.
Yeah.
And it's not active anymore, so it's up to you to let everybody know. And you're not going to get that many chances to be heard.
We're here to help you. We're here to help to solve the mystery of what happened to you. So we're here to help. We're friends. We just want to get to the bottom of what went on that day.
So let's start with you lighting that light. I've introduced myself. My name's Vanessa, and I want to get to know you. So let's start off. What was that?
I heard it too. I swear it's just the room settling.
That's not the room settling. I know that sound. This isn't, I get it with a house maybe.
Because I know, like, if that noise that I heard, I wouldn't even.
Was that you? It's a good start. It's a really good start if that was you.
Hey, dude, sorry I'm late, man.
Hey, man, how'd it go?
Honestly, kind of a quiet investigation, but after I went home, that's when something interesting happened. So I got to sleep probably, 4 a.m. last night, and slept maybe an hour and a half before my girlfriend woke me up and asked me if I was okay, because I was thrashing side to side, like shielding myself, yelling, "No, please stop." And thank God, I don't remember anything. But
Wow.
that doesn't happen to me. I don't have that happen to me all the time. Like I can't help but think that it has something to do with being in that room last night.
Of course it does. Of course it does. You're not the only one. It has happened before. You know, every time someone goes in there, they have dreams. It has happened to me before.
Really?
Yes. So, just tell it to stop in your dreams.
And that's what we didn't do. Like when we left, even though you gave us the warning, we didn't tell him to leave us alone. So
You just got to be persistent. In your dreams, you got to be persistent, because if not, he's going to take over. And man, you got to go back tonight?
I know. The thing is, I'm not afraid to go back in and investigate. I'm just afraid to go to sleep.
Since we can't just count on Walter's good nature to aid in our quest to solve the murder, Guillermo and I have an appointment to meet with an archivist at the San Antonio Central Library.
We need your help.
Okay.
Guillermo and I are working to solve a 50-year-old murder case in San Antonio. Are you familiar with the murder in room 636 at the Gunter Hotel?
I've heard of it.
Nobody knows where the woman's remains were disposed.
No body, no name, no nothing.
Yeah.
So here we are 50 years later trying to see through paranormal research, through psychics, through any means possible, if there's any way to figure out, I don't know, through missing persons reports, but you guys are the guys to come to as far as, is there any way that you know of to look up something like that?
Well, we don't have missing persons reports. We don't have any kind of police reports. But we do have a vertical file of newspaper clippings about the event.
Now what about, because Guillermo was saying that the San Antonio Light was the newspaper at the time, at the end of the year they would publish like year-end statistics that included missing persons reports.
Okay.
If we were able to pull something like that up, if that is true, if we're able to pull something like that up, is it possible that you could almost take the names and cross-reference against death records, or to figure out which ones were never cleared?
We have the light on microfilm, so you could go through it.
Is that something you guys could help us with?
Yeah, we have the Texas Death Index, so you could cross-reference with that. First, I'd get the names. I'd look through the newspaper and see if there's a list of names of missing people.
How far do you think we should go back?
I'd probably go from 66
to 61.
Yeah.
Through our research, we're going to look for a name as well, and we're hoping that a name that we get through paranormal investigation, through a psychic, may match up against the name that we find that was never cleared. Knowing that, how difficult is this going to be?
Pretty difficult.
Impossible?
No, not impossible.
Should we get started looking at the microfilm?
Sure. I'll show you where it is.
Andrew digs through the library's massive microfilm catalog to pull the correct date range. From Guillermo's own research, he believes the San Antonio Light, one of 3 San Antonio newspapers in 1965, published a year-end edition with citywide stats, including a list of people who went missing. If so, we could be just a few clicks away from uncovering the woman's identity for the first time in 50 years. The thought is mind-blowing.
Yep, there it is.
It's not a list of names, but it's a start. After nearly an hour, our search comes up empty. It's now time to get mentally prepared for my small part in this investigation. Jell and I have decided to begin our night the same way Walter would have, with a drink. We concoct a plan to reenact what may have happened in the room the night of the murder.
So Walter Emmerich was seen most of the time with a blonde over the days that he was spending here. So I'm going to put on a blonde wig to see if that triggers anything.
Who is it?
What?
What?
What are you doing? Sleeping?
Oh, God.
Where have you been?
Trying to sleep.
Sleep? I've been trying to find you for hours. You know we were supposed to go somewhere.
It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, all right? I'm just trying to sleep up here.
Well, I bought some drinks. Let's have a drink. I thought we were going to hang out.
Oh, for the love of God, really?
I've been wondering how come you don't want to talk to me, and how come you're not calling me and you're not coming by anymore.
Just leave me alone.
I think I'm going to tell everybody about it.
You're not going to tell anybody anything.
I'm going to tell everybody.
You're not going to tell anybody.
Oh, yeah. What are you going to do? Try and stop me?
You're not leaving this room.
Little man?
You're not leaving this room.
I'm going to tell everybody what you are.
What's that?
I think you're a homosexual. I think I've been hanging out with you for a long time and you haven't even looked at me twice.
It seems our role-playing has already had an effect on someone.
I heard a man's, like, ugh. That's what I heard.
He was talking to me in the hallway, and it was something really loud after I opened the door.
That's the street, okay. Little jumpy.
I was feeling some kind of cold spots against my legs.
That's what they say. A lot of the hotel workers say when they're in here, they'll be changing their sheets or whatever, and just a cold energy.
Mm-hmm.
But Guillermo was telling us that it's like this wall. They will shoot camera from over here, and this wall, he said, you'll see orbs start to come out and through and move around. And he's like, it's almost like whoever's in here is moving back and forth between rooms, almost like he's pacing mad.
Where did you go, Walter?
Whoa.
Were you behind me?
Periscope just went off.
Goes off whenever electrostatic energy comes near it.
Walter Audley Emmerich, come talk to us. You made that light up, make this light up.
We had a hit over here on the periscope. I turned it on and, a minute later, it lit up like a rainbow, which means
Somebody
there was
just tugged at my jeans.
electrostatic energy.
That's not going to happen tonight.
Did you do that, Walter?
We're here to talk to you. We want answers. It's been 50 years since whatever happened in here happened, and all we want to know is why.
Apparently, Walter's not in the mood to talk. If he's not willing to talk, maybe someone else is. Jell and I attempt to communicate using the flashlight.
So to understand how that works, all we need you to do is to touch the flashlight there. Your energy will complete the circuit and turn it on, and then we can communicate with you.
Can the female please turn this flashlight on if you're here with us? Tell us what he did to you.
At that moment, Jell picks up this chilling EVP.
What was your name?
And another. A female presence in the room is eager to communicate. Is it possible we're speaking to the woman who died here?
Where are you? Oh.
Just as we believe we're on to something, Jell captures the most confusing and disturbing EVP of the night.
I think I heard her.
And as quickly as she cries out, she's gone. It's as if someone is keeping her from speaking. To make it easier, Jell and I decide to use the Ovilus in addition to the flashlight.
Light. Can you turn on the light?
No.
Complete the circuit.
You know, Walter, I guarantee you that if we went to your old house...
The light. Walter, if that's you, can you flicker it off, please? Flicker out.
Whoever's here, thank you for turning on the flashlight. Can you please flicker it?
Thank you.
Thank you. Walter Emmerich, is that you? If so, please turn the flashlight on. Walter Emmerich, were you the one that caused my dream last night? If that was you, please turn the flashlight. Oh, jeez.
Well there, Walter. Seems you can do something after all. So, Walter, can you turn the light back off so we can talk?
I'm going to make something clear right now. You are not allowed to follow me. You are not allowed to do anything to me.
I stop myself as I feel a wave of anger wash over me.
You've hurt enough people as it is, and you're not going to hurt me.
I now know, for the second time, the extreme power Walter Emmerich can hold over you.
So, thank you if you did speak to us. Bye, Walter.
Laters, Walt.
before I allow his feelings of anger and hate to permeate my mind, it's time to leave the room and end the night.
Hey,
Hey, how you doing, man?
those things move yet or what?
I'm just trying to find out if I missed something, you know. How did the investigation go last night?
It was a good investigation. We had some EVPs. Got Walter to confirm that was him affecting my dream.
Really?
Which, yeah. So it was kind of crazy.
Hey, man, so check this out. I got every single police report, every single report of missing persons. So I gathered all this information together and I go ahead and submitted it to Andrew from the Central Library. So hopefully, you know, he'll cross-reference it and he'll let us know.
Damn.
What happened?
Forensics just pulled out. They didn't want to step on anybody's toes.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that, you know, how are we going to figure out what he did with the body?
Hang on. I got a plan. Yeah, can you put me through to Gareth Pendragon?
Daryl and Kendra enter the room for our final investigation.
Okay, we're coming into this room. The room.
621, right?
Yep. Originally, everything happened in this room. This is where Guillermo Fuentes and his group were doing their investigation, and the girl sat on that bed right there, and she got her hair pulled.
During the team briefing, Guillermo warned the team of Walter's violent nature. Tonight, Daryl and Kendra will attempt to recreate that scene.
I just turned the spirit box on.
The spirit box rapidly scans radio frequencies, creating white noise that spirits can use to form words.
Said what? Come visit? Well, we've been visiting. We've been visiting for 3 days. You've had the opportunity to talk to us. Say something. Let us know that you're here. What's your name? Why did you do it? Come on, you gotta speak up. I can't understand what you're saying. Alice? Did you hear Alice?
I didn't.
Was that her name? Was your girlfriend's name Alice? No. There's a flashlight over there on the bed. You could turn that on. You just have to barely touch it to turn it on. You did it last night. You know how to use it. You're gonna try? Well, then try. Do it. Are you over there? Oh, you know what that is? That's the shadow detector. Well, no, because it's not a shadow anymore.
I'm looking at it with the
There it goes.
with the FLIR, and nothing over there. Get the obelisk going. Hello.
Are you over there by that table? What happened? Where'd you go?
Walter A. Emmerich. Are you with us right now? My name's Daryl. I've been calling you out for the last 3 hours. Do something. Say something. Hell, throw something at me. Hit me in the face. Knock me down. You know, I'm really a kind person, but when I think about what you did, that was somebody's daughter. That might have been somebody's mother.
Did that make you feel powerful? To hurt somebody that was weaker than you?
It goes, well, that could have been, what's the matter?
I don't know, there was something on my damn arm. Turn the flashlight on me.
No, wait, did you hear that? Oh my God. There's no one outside.
Something like pinched my arm right here, and then you heard that out in the hall. Look right there.
Look right there.
Look right there.
Russell.
What the f?
Look right there.
You see it?
You see it, Russell?
It looks like, a little bit. Almost like this is what it felt like somebody like grabbed me and pinched me. Ow. Kind of burns.
You piece of shit. You come over here and do that to me, that's my wife. Come on. You come here. You son of a come attack me. I'm here. I'm asking you, come here.
Our production crew quickly realizes Daryl is overcome with anger. And what's interesting? He's standing in the exact same spot I stood in the previous night when I felt Walter's negative energy. The crew intervenes and convinces Kendra to end the investigation.
Walter, you need to stay in this room. You cannot follow us.
After a night of incredible investigation, it's only natural to start the day out with more bad news. The library has just informed us they're done working the project. But of the names they were able to research, all persons were accounted for. Suffice to say, when you're working on a project of this magnitude, not everyone is fully engaged. Disappointing. But to find the truth, we must forge on.
All right, Gareth, so we know the entire trail that he took when he left the hotel.
Okay.
I'm going to walk that with you. We're going to go through that trail and see if you pick up on anything.
Oh,
okay. Just let us know if you sense anything of maybe where the body was dumped.
Sure.
So starting out, right here, where this pole was, right along here, was a fire escape.
Okay.
He came out of the hallway, walked down the fire escape, came down here, and then from there, Guillermo went where?
From there, he crossed the street, down an alley, into a parking lot of the Texas Theater.
Oh, wow.
Which is the next place we're going to go.
Okay.
All right.
His friend had a vehicle, by the way.
And that's how they transported her?
I suspect so.
Gareth yet again keys in on images of Walter's accomplice. While he's been the only person to mention this, it does explain how no one reported seeing a man carrying a bloody box. We arrive at the Texas Theater.
So back in 1965, on the side of the building, there would have been a lot of cars lined up all the way to the back of this structure, this building. So it is believed that after he left the Gunter Hotel, he crossed the street and hid in between the vehicles, hiding.
I see. Wow.
Are you picking up any trail even of his?
I get a sense of him being very nervous.
Like he's with us right now?
No, from past images. Sorting his picture here. Looking for his images here. A sense of him being very nervous.
He's nervous. Okay, where's next? Nervous is good. Nervous is good.
That's what I was going to say.
If he's nervous, he knows we're on the trail.
Correct. So this right here would have been the parking lot on the backside of the Texas Theater. The building right here would have been the backside. And all of this area would have been
This was all
filled
parking
with,
lot.
Yes, filled with cars. which is
Would it
where
have
he
gone
was
down or just been level?
leveled, definitely, yes.
I don't see him riding in the car where the body was. He may have decided to go on foot, but he was nervous. One of the rare times that his consciousness was affecting him.
Is the body downtown, in your opinion?
I'm wondering about that. But she referred to water.
The Tropicana Hotel is on water.
Correct.
That's the next stop.
So that would be our next stop, the Tropicana Hotel.
Okay.
It's not an easy walk from here to the Tropicana, which lends more credence to the story that Walter had help.
So is he trailing us as well? Is he nervous with what we're doing right now?
Yes, he's keeping track of us.
Good, Walter. We're keeping tabs on you too, man.
But I have a good feeling from the lady, like she's glad.
She's happy that we're finally gonna pinpoint it.
Correct.
Welcome to the Tropicana Hotel.
Hi.
So this is apparently a spot that he was seen. Somebody reported seeing him in some brush down by the river.
Wow.
Maybe washing himself or something. They said they reported that.
Right.
Police followed up on the lead, but obviously there was nobody there when they came.
Right.
You mentioned at the car, you said to me, why did he come all the way over here? What did you mean by that?
Well, I'm curious why he would come to the Tropicana as opposed to some other place.
Why is that?
He came over here deliberately. And I'm trying to figure out why.
I feel like we're playing a game of hot and cold, but are we any closer?
Yes, we are. It was like it was put in this car. It wasn't physically with him. You know, he walked it. But the blood on him made him nervous. That added to his nervousness. And I get the sense from her that we're not far off. Like,
but this isn't it.
Not exactly. But he knew the points to put something in, like the river. Wouldn't be as populated. He may have weighed it down also.
So she's somewhere at the bottom. We just don't know where and probably never will.
Presently. But we can determine more.
Gareth is certainly more patient and hopeful than I am. The San Antonio River seems the most obvious hiding place, but it was searched extensively. How could they have missed this? Looking at maps from 1965, the Tropicana Hotel was the furthest point of development on the river at that time. Past that, it was trees and brush. According to police reports, divers searched from the Tropicana north. So if Walter stashed the body south of there, it could have gone undetected. Guillermo and I head back to the war room to assess our situation. And I have to be honest, I'm feeling a little defeated.
Well, here's all we have. No hits in the missing persons reports. We had an investigator get violently attacked in the room. A few EVPs, nothing definitive, some crazy dreams, and the psychic keyed in on a few clues as to where the body might be. That's all we have, and it's not much. I'm really sorry, Guillermo.
Are you kidding me, Russell? I've been doing this for 12 years. You know, you're always gonna run into dead ends. This has been an amazing experience for me. Working with you guys, venturing into the paranormal, trying to find a missing piece that would solve this case. That's what it's all about.
You know what my theory is? I think Walter Emmerich was gay in a time when that wasn't socially acceptable, and somebody found out his secret. And for him, He felt that he had to kill this person in order to keep his secret safe. Plain and simple.
It seems after 50 years, Walter is still unwilling to unleash the details of this case or confirm our theories. Then again, are we prepared to hear it? What will it take? 50 more years or theories?
Well, guess Walter won this round.
It's not the first time I run into a dead end.
Hey, it's not about the end, right? It's about the journey.
What a crazy, unbelievable experience. My involvement in this case has been one of the most bewildering, frustrating, yet exciting things I've ever done. I can only imagine how Guillermo feels. It does make you wonder, though, after all this time, will this case ever be solved?
I think it's possible. There's two sayings I have. You never say never, you never say always.
There's just so many angles to this entire thing that maybe one of these days something will come up.
That's part of what fascinates me about it. Today it would have been solved and over with and we wouldn't be talking about it.
Even if we're not able to close this case, I will continue to do more research. I will continue to investigate this case until I am satisfied with the result, and that is to find the victim's body and to identify her and perhaps give her proper burial.
Murder is a very difficult thing for me to understand or for me to feel about because nobody has the right to do these things. They don't.
I just find it hard to believe that somebody could actually get to the point mentally that they could take another person, cut them up, and try to flush them down the toilet.
Woke up with demons and so had a word with the devil. Then he lost all self-control. Contemplated on a Monday afternoon as the evil ran down his spine.
It's been a nightmare to me personally because ever since I started doing research, I can't stop thinking about the case.
I've often wondered this one thing. Why did he choose the Gunter Hotel? Did he have this in mind to begin with and decide that he's going to give the mother of all mysteries?
The case of the murder in room 636 of the Gunter Hotel will go on as part of San Antonio legend. Every path you take, every corner you turn, leads to more questions and surprise. Like in the 1980s, when one day a strange envelope arrived in the mail.
And in it was a surprise, much to our surprise, original key to room 636, which is the one that we're in.
Some 20 years later, some kind-hearted soul decided to return the key? Who? Why? And from where? This truly is a bizarre and unfathomable case. I suppose Walter Emmerich's teacher pretty much hit the nail on the head in his yearbook. He always keeps you guessing.
Can you feel a spirit in the sky, seeking redemption, but who knows why? Things are never really as they seem. Before you know it, you're all out of time. Can you feel a spirit in the sky, seeking redemption, but who knows why? Beware the man with the sparkle in his eye. You can scratch at the door, but do it before your existence fades. Your existence fades.